In the light of two lanterns. The comic book heroes are this time in Rozevia. A resident of our commune shows a tourist he knows around the Blizzarium, telling the history of this place. Oh, it's nice to see you again. This time I'm taking you on a journey to the Rozevia lighthouse, which is already 200 years old.
200 years? It's older than Jastrzębia Góra, which we have visited recently. But how come? I see two lanterns.
I will tell you everything. Let's go back in time a few centuries ago. The place we are standing was called Rozhund. Here, on a high bank, a bonfire was lit for sailors. Over time, the fire turned into a flaming stake, then into a brick structure with a fire burning on top, which was later replaced by electric light.
That's 6 centuries of history in this place.
Yes, exactly, and the fire tower appeared on maps in the 17th century. See what the Rozevia lighthouse looked like over the years.
Oh, how much it changed.
At the beginning of the 19th century, a new lighthouse was built from stones and began operating in 1822. The light was then at an altitude of 68.2 meters above sea level and was visible at a distance of 35 kilometers. At that time, there were only a few lighthouses in the southern Baltic Sea. Decades later, the argand lamps were replaced with a French invention called the Fresnel apparatus, powered by rapeseed oil. This gave new lighting possibilities to the Rozevia lighthouse.
So it seems like it was visible from an even greater distance.
Yes, definitely. The constant light was visible at a distance of 40 kilometers. Unfortunately, until it was obscured by the beech forest that still grows here today.
These are beautiful beech trees that we are over 200 years old.
And there is even a legend associated with them. Apparently, during the reign of King Sigismund III Vasa, the Swedes, seeing the light of the lantern, climbed the hill and set fire to the local village. Imagine that for this transgression, they were cursed and turned into beech trees.
I think I can even hear the disturbing noise of the Rozeva forest. Let's get back to the history of the lighthouse.
Okay. A few years later, it was decided to build a second lighthouse with annexes near the existing one in order to correctly recognize the location of this place, which is lit with 2 lighthouses at the same time. Fresnel apparatus was also installed there. It was put into operation in 1875, and 2 years later, a siren room was added.
And for what purpose?
For example, to enhance navigation with sound during snowstorms or fog. You've probably heard of buoys. They are still functional. The lighthouse keepers activated them when the date changes from the old to the new year, and when the lighthouse keepers leave for eternal watch. Currently, the younger Rozevia II lighthouse is named after Jan Kasprowicz, a poet and activist involved in maritime economy. It was in this lighthouse that he lived while visiting his family. Among his works, the Ballad of the Lighthouse in Rozevia and the Lighthouse in Rozevia are particularly dear to us in Kashubia.
These are like very interesting facts. And when did electricity come into lighthouses in Rozevia?
There were several changes before electric light came here. Well, in 1910, the Rozevia's second lighthouse was turned off because the first lighthouse was raised by almost 12 meters. An engineer room for its electric lighting devices was built, and it operated with new lamps until 1978. The light range has now increased to 55 kilometers, which makes it the strongest lighthouse in the Baltic Sea.
Okay, so the second light was turned off because of it was no longer needed?
Exactly.
What a picturesque alley leading from one lighthouse to another. Tell me more about how the lighthouse functioned in the pre- and post-war period.
After Poland's swelling to the sea in 1920, the Prussian staff at the lighthouses were dismissed, and they gradually came under the management of the Merchant Navy Office. From March 1st, 1922, the first Polish lighthouse skipper, Leon Wzorek, managed the Różewy lighthouse.
Was the street named after him?
Yes, exactly. And after the death of the lighthouse skipper, this function was taken over by his brother and later by his son. But let's go back to the time before World War II. A radio station was installed in our lighthouse, an antenna mast was erected, and its metal part was painted red.
Oh, I see a monument here. Let's see it.
Okay, it was erected by sailors and lighthouse staff in memory of the takeover of Pomerania by Polish army on February 10th, 1920.
There is also a plaque on the lamppost.
Yes, it appeared here in 1933 on the initiative of Leon Wzorek in honor of the writer Stefan Żeromski, after whom the lighthouse was named. It is said that Żeromski wrote many of his works right here. Thanks to the lighthouse skipper, the Stefan Żeromski Museum also opened here. There is a plaque in the lighthouse dedicated to Leon Wzorek from 1969.
I had no idea that the lighthouses in Różewo had such a rich history.
And that's not over yet. After World War II, in 1945, the lighthouse was opened. 5 years later, a new plaque was mounted in honor of the writer, as the previous one was torn down by the Germans. A granite monument erected to him still stands here today.
So, what happened next with the lighthouse?
It was raised again because the local forest blocked its light. The trees could not be cut down, hence the decision to undergo another transformation.
In total, it was heightened twice?
Yes, this time by 8 meters. New halogen lamps were placed on the rotating table in the lighthouse, and renovations were also carried out inside the facility and in the building around it. The lighthouse has been preserved in this shape since 1978 until today. The structure is almost 33 meters high and stands on a 15-meter hill. Its light range is 26 nautical miles. From June 1st, 2006, you can go up the lantern and take a closer look at the equipment that affects the safety of navigation. In 2019, the lamps were last modernized from halogen to LED.
It's very exciting. I learned so many interesting facts.
Do you know what the lighthouse is called in Kashubian?
No idea. Surprise me.
That is called Bliza.
I've heard this name somewhere before.
Quite possible. I will show you around the lighthouse, the Blizarium facilities and exhibitions managed by the Society of Friends of the National Maritime Museum in Gdańsk. From May 1st, 2022, the Różewo 2 lighthouse was opened to the visitors for the first time.
And you can now visit both?
Yes, they are open to visitors all year round. Outside the holiday season, you must make an appointment. And exhibition spaces are also available to all artists presenting maritime themes.
I'm excited. Let's go then.